No good footy team gets by without its use of quality veterans, whether it's leadership or composure. Every team, in order to go places, needs their older guys. So I'm going to take a look at the guys not just turning 30, but older players in the AFL and deciding whether I'm buying, holding, or selling their stock for next season. So guys like Marcus Bontempelli and Zach Merritt are not going to be featured in this video for obvious reasons. It's the older than those guys that are going to be the focus, and I've grouped them together. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. Let's go. My first group of buys: Nathan Broad, Nick Vlosten, Jeremy Cameron, Tom Stewart, and Lockie Neal. Now, again, these are in no order, guys. This is just going through the list of age guys, putting them into groups. There's nothing by it. It's not Broad more than Stewart or anything like that, so just keep that in mind. But all five of these guys are not only going to have preeminent roles for their side, and of course, 2 Tigers, 2 Cats, and the Lion for Lockie Neal. And I've just realised I left Dane Zorko off my list as well. So we can include Dane Zorko here retroactively, by the way. But all 6 of these guys, Zorko included, are absolutely going to be not only frontliners for their teams, but really important. Broad and Vlosten obviously are going to be leading the way for a Richmond backline that is set to explode, with Sam Banks and Tom Brown set to have career best seasons, hopefully, especially for those that are buying their stocks in things like Supercoach Fantasy, those kinds of games. Banks especially getting a lot of preseason love, but as that Tigers defense continues to blossom and grow, hopefully with the return of Josh Gibkiss as well, having those veterans down there is only going to serve a purpose. For Geelong and Brisbane, though, those 4 guys combined are going to be massive. Stewart, of course, didn't play in the grand final due to the concussion he got in the prelim. Jeremy Cameron, the reigning Norm Smith medalist. Lockie Neal's second half, where he took the absolute piss, and bringing in a 2-time Brownlow medalist is never going to hurt, obviously. And then Zorko as their most damaging halfback flanker in a side that included Darcy Wilmot, Jasper Fletcher, and will be welcoming back Kitty Coleman in an extraordinary use of resources. Oh my golly goodness, Brisbane are going to be so good for the next 5 years. It's going to be disturbing to watch. But all 6 of these guys, I think we can all agree, are going to be paramount to their team's success this year. My first group of holds: Rory Lobb, Jack McRae, Charlie Cameron, Jack Viney, Ollie Wines, and Tim Membry. So let's start with the midfield contingent there of McRae, Viney, and Wines. My concern, as those players are aging, they are more contested style, especially Wines and Viney, but McRae on the outside. Is the game going to be getting too quick for them, and are they going to suit modern styles? Considering speed, power, durability, and the way that you are able to go from the inside to the outside becoming more prominent amongst modern AFL midfields, guys like Zorko, Pendlebury, Sidebottom, etc. have been thriving unbelievably well behind the ball or to the side of the ball, in Sidebottom's case on a wing, and I just don't know whether McRae, Wines, and Viney are going to be able to fit the bill. Granted, they are still going to be part of a lot of CBAs for their sides moving forward, but considering that St Kilda just got Flanders, Port Adelaide have seemingly moved past Ollie Wines, I suppose, considering they've got Horn Francis, Butters, and Rosie, even though Rosie went to a halfback flank, and they've just brought in Will Brodie, who might be taking that Ollie Wines role, and Viney's going to be joined by Jack Steele, but having exciting guys like Cozzy Pickett, Harvey Langford, and Trent Rivers rolling through that midfield. Are they going to get a bit lost amongst the way that modern footy is being played? I'm not sure. The entire question mark for around Charlie Cameron is going to be his speed, and granted, they've got Rayner, Bailey, Kai Lohman as well down there. He is absolutely not necessarily going to need to be shut down by the number 1 small defender, and if he is, again, that's just going to open up a lot of range and power for Kai Lohman in order to do his work, because not many clubs have got 2 really good lockdown small defenders. Some do, not a lot do. He's still got a really important role to play. I don't think he's going to be washed, especially early in the season. And we end this with the bookends, Rory Lobb and Tim Membry. Lobb is going to get a lot more chances behind the ball, obviously, but we've been crying out for the Bulldogs to add a key defender to their ranks because it's probably the thing stopping them from being genuine contenders. And Lobb was already there, so assuming he's going to go to another level is just too much risk that I'm not willing to be putting on his shoulders at this point. And Tim Membry, again, is going to be He's going to be good for the Pies, I suppose, but the difference between him having, say, a 25 to 30 goal season versus, say, a 40 to 50, which the Pies might need at a post-Brody Meyer check, kind of remains to be seen. How much can you put on Jamie Elliott's shoulders? I'm not sure if the Pies are going to contend again. My first group of sells, Dane Rampy, Stephen May, and Stephen Canelio. Canelio for injury-related reasons, unfortunately, and insert what I said about 30-year-old midfielders that can't go from the inside to the outside. I just think with Sydney getting in Jai Sarong means that Dane Rampe's role is going to be significantly different. And the fact that he's just been an extremely good footballer for so long, I just wonder whether he is going to be the right guy moving forward. I'm not particularly sure at all. Stephen May effectively got told we don't want you anymore by Melbourne, so he's going to be an insurance piece for the D's next year. My second group of buys, Jeremy Howe, Max Gawn, Mark Blicavs, Steele Sidebottom, and Tom McDonald. The two Collingwood guys speak for themselves. The importance that he's reigned over Jeremy Howe. He is back at preseason training and reportedly going pretty nicely, which is nice. Steele had almost a career rejuvenation season last year. He probably would have been on the sell list, which would have been a horrific call by me last year. You don't get everything right, obviously. These are just my opinions, guys. But he was absolutely awesome. He doesn't need to have a whole lot of centre bounce attendances. He can let the game come to him on that wing. Absolutely. Gawn is a superstar and will only finish up when he seemingly wants to. The durability and also the flexibility and versatility and all the other iddies that you want to come up with for Mark Blicavs are still true. So I don't really think I need to go into massive detail there. And then Tom McDonald for mine. You've told Stephen May, not him obviously, Melbourne did, that you're not that needed anymore, which means the role is going to be there for Tom McDonald. They've got a lot of faith in him and his ability to thrive with guys like Harrison Petty, Daniel Turner down back, or if they want to throw him forward to help Meyer, Check, and Van Rooyen, whether they play Matty Jefferson from the start, I'm not particularly sure, but seemingly the role is there for him. He was pretty good last year. I didn't think he had a horrific season by any means, so I'm more than happy to buy some T-Max stock as we head into 2026. My second group of holds, Scott Pendlebury, Taylor Walker, Patrick Dangerfield, and Jamie Cripps, some absolute superstars in that group. What's Pendle's role going to be next year? Now, given the fact that he has been so healthy, durable, all of these kinds of things, a role behind the ball and let Jack Crisp sort of take his role that he had this season seems to be what I think the Pies should do, but who bloody knows at this point? Again, I just wonder how well is his ability to go from inside to outside this year with another year under the belt is my only question. It's not that I want Pendles to retire or anything, but I wonder, do you just go do the Dyson Heppel back pocket role? I think that might be better for him to try to get another year or two out of his body. That's just me. Taylor Walker is seemingly going to be the next crow out from that forward line because obviously he is a lot older than Fogarty, Thilthorpe. You've just drafted Marsh, Ludowici, and you've still got Tyler Welsh on the boards. Hex is going to be a depth piece, but going into a final series, given the way that Fogarty played throughout those two finals against the Pies and the Hawks, is Tex still their second best tall forward behind Thilthorpe? I don't know whether that's good or not, so I'll just hold on what the Crows do with Tex there. Danger is kind of in between his prelim and grand final performances where he was the best player on the ground and then one of the worst in back-to-back weeks. And where Geelong are going to harness him as best they can, I'm a hold on Danger being a full-time star in that Geelong team next year. It's all relative and subjective to what you think the player is going to deliver. And then for Jamie Cripps at the Eagles, I know they lost Liam Ryan for effectively what is now nothing, considering that pick got on-traded to Hawthorn as they moved up in the draft, did West Coast, but Cripps is probably going to play all of the games that he is healthy for sure. How much of an offensive output he is going to have, I'm going to be a hold on. I think you've still got to respect him as a defensive front, that he can kick some goals on you and take it away from you. But with no Oscar Allen there, the quality of defenders going to you just goes a little bit higher and higher. So Cripps is still going to get a pretty good opposition player, and I'm just not sure whether he's got a 40-goal season in him. My second and last group of sells, Taylor Adams, Tim Kelly, Jaeger O'Meara, and Zach Williams. Adams is just depth at this point. And it's not, I don't say that with any kind of trepidation or stuff you, Tay. That is absolutely not the case that I'm trying to make here. But when you go, he could be a midfield option, which again, inside to outside, that's not his go. I've spoken about that enough in this video. Warner, Goulden, Heaney, Sheldrick, you just drafted Billy Cootie, James Rowbottom. Like, you've got guys that can rotate through there. Oh, but Daz, we could stick him on a half-forward flank to start the year. Will Hayward's gone. Yeah, I know, but you've still got Javan Phillippo. Caden Cleary's going to probably get some more games there. What's Corey Warner going to be doing with another preseason under his belt? I just think he's going to be there as insurance. A pretty good insurance piece for sure, but the difference between the Swans trying to rise up the ladder, becoming a premiership team, yeah, I think I'm going to sell my stock on that, to be honest with you. Jaeger is going to do role player things at Freo, but again, I don't think he's going to be the difference between them trying to make a grand final or not. Could have a really good finals performance in him, but I honestly think with guys like Cooper Simpson coming through and maybe guys like Nathan O'Driscoll taking another step, he might just become a depth piece this year, if I'm being completely honest with you. Zach Williams is a really weird case study for me because he can be a dangerous medium-esque forward, but he's not a midfielder. He's not a halfback flanker anymore. And there, again, is an argument to be made that with some guys that they got in, with Hayward coming in, Jesse Motlop taking another step, obviously. I know they lost Matty Owens, but that was sort of last year. I'm just not really sold on Zach Williams being a massive part of Carlton's success or failure next season. So these are the guys I'm kind of looking at going. And Tim Kelly, I think, just before I end this clip, should be relatively obvious. Like, he's got some good games left in him, but Harley, Yeo, Hewitt, other guys at Baker, Graham that you're rotating through there. Josh Lindsay might come in off a halfback flank or something to get some CBA time. We will see. What are they going to do with Ruben Jinby's role, even though I think he absolutely should be a defender. But Tom McCarthy is going to be able to go through there as well. I don't know whether you just cut the cord or not and just make him a depth piece. I'm not sure. But he absolutely could rejuvenate himself. I'm just not really inclined to put my money where my mouth is on Tim Kelly there. So it might sound harsh, I know, but these are veteran guys, all of whom have had really good careers. I just think that the game, or maybe the game plan, might have just gone past them at this point. My second last group of buys, Jared Witts, Tom Liberatore, Luke Parker, Ryan Lester, and Jamie Elliott. Jared Witts is a top 5 or 6 ruckman in the comp. Argue with the wall. Libba, I think everyone that watches Libba knows just the role that he can have. Jamie Elliott coming off a career best season. I'm still buying the fact of his importance, his role, and what he's going to be able to deliver. I just find it hard to believe he's not going to have, 70% of the season that he had, again, if he's healthy. If he's healthy is the caveat that you've got to put in here. Luke Parker was outstanding for North last year. Everything I said about him getting him in. And again, it's not like I pulled it out of my ass, by the way. I just watched him play and can kind of extrapolate from there that he was going to be really, really good. And Ryan Lester, even though that Brandon Starcevich is gone, Noah Answorth, who started last year on fire, is still going to be there. Lester plays his role week in, week out, the number 35 from the Lions. One of a group, I think, of really good medium to small defenders in this competition. But all of these guys just play their roles absolutely brilliantly. Are probably self-explanatory choices, but they're here anyway. My last group of holds, Jack Darling, Nick Haynes, Jed Hughes, Brad Hill, and Rory Laird. Now, Jack Darling, I think, was still a good recruit last year. He might not have put the goals on the board, but he was able to take a body away from Nick Larkey. We saw Paul Curtis, Cooper Trembath, these guys come on pretty strongly last year. So he did his job, absolutely, but another 12 months into his body, what is that going to look like? Is he going to be able to have that same level of protection for that forward group? I'm not particularly sure about. Nick Haynes was really good last year. Again, whether he can back that up, I'm not 100% sure. We will wait and see. That's why I'm a bit more of a hold. Jed Hughes is going to be 32 next year. Did you know that? I didn't. How the hell is he this old? I swear he's 26. He's not 32. He's 32. But my God, he does not seem like he is that old. Brad Hill, I think, for the Saints, this is more of a hold as well, because whilst, yes, he can absolutely be a part of your transition game, I'm not denying that for a moment, I think St Kilda's year next year is a failure if Brad Hill is top 6 in your best and fairest. Because you got Nazaya, you got Sinclair, you got De Koning, you got Marshall, Max King should hopefully be fully fit. You've got Flanders, you've got Winhager, you've got Phillippo, you've got maybe Machito Owens if you're as big a fan of him as some people are. You've got Cal Wilkie for crying out loud. That's 10 blokes, all, again, fully fit. I would expect to have better seasons than Brad is, and that probably means that St Kilda have had a really good year. So that's the hold, not on Brad as a player, but in terms of the performances that he might have for the Saints next year. And then Rory Laird is a hold for me because he looked more dangerous last year as a midfielder than he did outside of the midfield in finals. So what's that role going to look like? He's the only defender that doesn't really defend, to be reasonably honest with you. So just again, 12 months on, he's just a little bit older. What's that role going to look like? Is he still going to be, you know, the really good version of Rory? Is he going to get more CBA time? It's a wait and see, which for me is the epitome of a hold. And yeah, Jed Buse is way older than I think he is, and I'm still not convinced he's in their best 23. And my last group, which is my last buy group, Brodie Grundy, Toby Nankervis, Lockie Whitfield, and Toby Green. Just two of the top 6, 7, 8 best ruckmen in the competition. Grundy was in All-Australian talks come the end of last year. Nankervis is your bash and crash ruckman. Love that in a significant way. Whitfield's doing what every veteran would love to do, and that's just get a shitload of uncontested ball, use it well, and, you know, deal with the consequences as it comes. And I just think Toby's just got the footy IQ that he can just dominate a game or two whenever he can to hopefully help the Giants get back to winning some finals, which, of course, they couldn't do last year, losing that elimination final to my Hawks. Some pretty self-explanatory picks at the end there, guys, but that's what I think. Comment below. Let me know. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to join the Daz Talks Footy family. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.